Welcome to Italics, television for the Italian-American experience. I'm your host, Anthony Tamburri. On this episode, we'll visit the annual New York Gala of the National Italian-American Foundation. This year, NIAF honored 4 people who have contributed greatly to the promotion of Italian business and culture in the United States, helping to create, in the meantime, a much-desired dialogue between our two countries. Further still, the New York Gala benefits NIAF's educational and youth programs, making sure that the future generations of Italian Americans learn about their heritage and help promote it in all its forms. Now let's go to 42nd Street to NIAF's New York Gala. "2016, you're this young kid up on stage, America's Got Talent, and here we are today, 2 years later. How's the ride been?"
It's been absolutely wonderful. I've been able to not only bring my Italian heritage all over the world and share it with other Italians from other parts of it, but I've been able to honor my mother and father, which for any Italian, young Italian American, that's a primo thing, especially my mother. I didn't realize as it was happening, but I realized just as soon as the show ended how much of an impact I made in the Italian American community and how much support I had from not only the Italian American community in the United States, but in Canada, all of our paisans in Australia and Argentina, a lot of places that you wouldn't think. Since then, I've kind of been this adopted voice of the young Italian American community in the United States, which has been a tremendous honor, a tremendous blessing, not only to have their support, but just to be that voice, that person.
This event, I've noticed over the years, has gotten bigger and bigger, significantly bigger and bigger, and tonight it's like the biggest it's ever been, correct?
Because people are proud of their Italian heritage and they want to celebrate it in positive ways and recognize the people who've given so much to this country while they've achieved.
We'd love to do 2 of them because there's enough successful Italian Americans who love their culture and heritage that just want to be part of this. And we all go back to our roots and we all want to feel like we belong. Everybody here belongs. Everybody here belongs, and that's what's the beauty of NIAF.
We want to be able, thanks to our honorees, to give out even more scholarships because we want these young Italian boys and girls to be able to achieve in science and math and health.
Now we want to make sure that that young demographic gets the opportunity to do the same thing because we know how they think and we know how smart they are.
Congratulations on the NIAF Special Award for International Business.
Thank you very much. I'm humble and honored to be here tonight.
So you've been in the States how long?
10 years. This year is 10 years anniversary.
And how's it been so far?
We really enjoyed it. All the family, I'm here with my wife and my 2 kids. We enjoyed living here. Our company is basically centered in the States. More than 50% of our total business, worldwide business, is in the States. So a lot of opportunity for everyone.
So your business is basically Italian born and bred, Cola Vita, basically everyone knows about it. But you took over the United States side, right? You're sort of in charge of what goes on here in the United States. So how scary was that at the beginning?
Yeah, that was scary when we decided to merge the 2 companies with Cola Vita USA with the Professional family. I was sent here to lead the project from the family. It was scary at the beginning, but when I got here, the welcome I got from the Professional family, from the team, and from everybody I did business with, let me feel comfortable right away, and it was like being home. I'm from Sant'Elia Pianisi. It's a little village in Molise, the second smallest region in Italy, as many don't know it. And so I come from the region, I studied in Rome, and I lived most of my life in Rome before moving here.
First of all, congratulations on a wonderful event. You've been doing this for a few years now.
I've been doing it for 6 years, and every year it seems to gain in popularity and get bigger and bigger and bigger and better and better and better. And it's getting younger too, which is wonderful. One of the great things about NIAF, it's a way for people like me to teach our children about their Italian heritage in ways that we might not otherwise have available to us.
Well, I've been coming to this for at least 12 years that I've been in New York City, and I have to say that this is by far the biggest.
It is by far the biggest. As you know, we've been at Cipriani's for the last 6 years, and we have a great group of honorees, all proud of their Italian heritage and a good role. Like I said, we're getting younger. When they hear, or young people hear our honorees, they'll realize what good role models Italian Americans are and the contributions they make in our community.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the National Italian American Foundation's New York Gala. Thank you for being here.
NIAF has given me 2 gifts. First gift is I've met wonderful Italian Americans, people affiliated with NIAF, who are warm, they become friends, and good role models. The second gift NIAF has given me, it's given me the opportunity to share my Italian heritage with my children in ways that I would have never imagined.
This is a great opportunity for me to express 3 basic concepts towards NIAF. First of all, renew our support for what you do on the cultural and language heritage side. What you do is very, very important through the scholarship for the goal of promoting more and more the Italian language, la bellissima lingua italiana. We are going to do, and we are doing that together, and I think that my aim as a Consul General in New York and in the important tri-state area is that we have to do whatever it takes to do that ogni cittadino di New York, del Connecticut, del New Jersey parli italiano, la lingua più bella del mondo. And let me also renew my deepest gratitude for your generosity, for your friendship. What NIAF did for Italy after the very sad earthquake last year of central Italy is really unbelievable. On behalf of the Italian institutions, grazie, because we know that we can count on each other. You are the protagonist of the never-ending love story between Italy and New York. Grazie, and let me take the opportunity to announce for the first time in a very public way that on June the 3rd in Central Park, for the first time ever, we are organizing with the New York Roadrunners the Italy Run, the day after the Festa Italiana della Repubblica. 5 miles in Central Park, and we want an Italian invasion, an Italian-American invasion of Central Park. Grazie, viva NIAF, viva l'Italia, viva New York.
Tonight, we're going to highlight 4 great individuals who embody the values and traditions we seek to preserve for our next generation. Well, we want to make sure our honorees get the respect they deserve because they work so hard for it. And we're so proud to recognize these individuals. Every single one of them has worked so hard to make this gala a success. We couldn't be happier to share all their stories.
The Tizios are a big, loving Atlantic Highlands, New Jersey family of nuns. Mr. Tizio's professional career includes 16 years at American International Group, where he worked alongside his father, Thomas Tizio, and developed industry-leading products that were pioneering for AIG at the time. Vince is now the President and Chief Executive Officer of Navigators Management Company. His father's example of hard work, humility, and devotion to his family, along with his mother's tireless advocacy efforts, have had a lasting impact. His father died of pancreatic cancer in October 2015. Tom was the epitome of health, and his sudden passing emphasized the importance of Vince's support of healthcare and medicine, which has taken on a new meaning after the death of his father. Ladies and gentlemen, please help us congratulate Vincent C. Tizio as he receives the NIAF Special Achievement Award in Business.
Before I ask Vincent to come forward and accept his award, there's 2 very special individuals who were not able to join us tonight, but instead, they sent special messages. Take a look.
Ciao from Italia, everyone. I just wanted to extend my congratulations to you, Vin, on another big accomplishment. You never cease to amaze me and the entire family with everything that you do and accomplish in your life. You've been such an amazing role model to me and the best father figure that anyone could ever ask for. I love you and miss you so much. Ciao, arrivederci.
Hey, Noah here. Hard to make this short, but I'm so proud and happy for you. You give me endless opportunities to be successful and to be a better man. You're an amazing father to me, and I want to wish you the biggest and best congratulations on this honor you're receiving tonight. It's such an honor to me to be in your life. I wish I could be there. Instead, everyone lift your glass to this amazing person. Congratulations, Vin. I love and miss you so much. Enjoy your night.
Okay, now you can come up.
Good evening, everyone, and so much to say. Wow. Tonight is a special evening for me and my family. Separate from the recognition that Dad, who was one of my best friends and role models, receiving this award back in 2003, the Iron Lady of our family, the anchor, my mother, is here tonight. And she has played an incredibly encouraging, disciplined, and supportive role in my life. You know, along with my mom and my dad, I was raised in a very traditional Italian-American family. The value of hard work, the commitment to one's interests, its passion, its love of friends, its respect of its worship in God, and yes, friends, and trying to realize the blessing of what friends can do and how they can enrich your life. I hope all of you feel a little bit more Italian tonight. Thank you very much and have a great evening.
Giovanni Cola Vita is the third-generation CEO of Cola Vita, a family-owned and operated producer of gourmet oils and vinegars. Founded in 1938 by his grandfather Giovanni, Cola Vita has a reputation for quality and unmistakable flavor. The business started with the Cola Vita family bottling the oils produced by their small olive mill. During his childhood, Giovanni was surrounded by the family business and participated in all aspects of olive oil bottling and production. With the future of the family business in mind, Giovanni earned a bachelor's degree in law from Rome's La Sapienza and went on to earn an MBA from the SDA Bocconi School of Management in Milan. He soon became national sales manager and eventual CEO of Cola Vita Italy, where he gained the valuable experience that led to his current position as CEO and president of Cola Vita USA. Ladies and gentlemen, the National Italian-American Foundation is honored to present Giovanni Cola Vita with the NIAF Special Achievement Award in International Business.
I'm very humbled to be one of NIAF's honorees this evening. Cola Vita has been a long-standing and very proud NIAF supporter. It's important to us to honor our heritage by supporting all of the major Italian-American organizations who have done such a great work. I remember as a young kid waiting to watch the NIAF Gala on the Italian news to see our olive oil on the table, actually on stage at the time. It made me so happy. So again, it's humbling to be speaking to you tonight. But today my memories goes farther back to my childhood in my village in Sant'Elia, when as a little boy I was running around with my grandfather in the olive oil mill. Everything was manual at the time. There was no such thing as a bottling line. It was all hand-packed, and all of us in the family were involved in the process, one way or the other. It was bonding for our family, and for me it was a lot of fun. I want to close with a message for the leaders of the future, for my kids and for the young talents that get inspired by successful leaders of their times. Don't look just to how successful they are. Success is important, and you have to go for it. It comes from the hard work, but it's not enough. What is success if you don't have the respect and the admiration of your team? If you have to take advantage of others to achieve your goals, it means that you failed as a person, as a leader. I wish for all of us to become inspiring leaders for the new generation. Grazie.
Oh, the shark has pretty teeth, dear, and it shows them pearly whites. Just a jackknife has old Mackie, babe, and it keeps it way out of sight. Don't you know when that shark bites, he uses them teeth, babe, and scarlet billows begin to spread.
Joseph always had a moral compass grounded in a Catholic military education and parents who constantly reminded him that when much is given to you, much is expected. At age 17, Joseph decided to transfer from his Catholic high school Aquinas to the newly integrated James Madison High School within downtown Rochester. Princeton University took notice of Joseph's academic accomplishments and activism, and in 1976 offered him a scholarship, an opportunity that changed his world. Soon after Princeton, Joseph met Monsignor Gino Baroni, one of the National Italian-American Foundation's founders and a top advisor to President Carter. Monsignor Baroni offered Joseph a job alongside him at the Department of Housing and Urban Development in Washington, D.C. In 1982, after receiving an MBA from Yale, Joseph began his Wall Street career and quickly rose to be a managing director in corporate finance. Yet despite his Ivy League degrees and accomplishments, Joseph laments that he was never able to explain to his mother exactly what he did for a living. We at the National Italian-American Foundation are honored to present Joseph Sebastian Fischera with the NIAF Special Achievement Award in Finance.
It was difficult to explain to my mother what an investment banker does for a living. When I tried to explain to her that people paid me for my advice, she would say, "Why would they do that? You're not a lawyer." When I told her about some of my bonuses that I got, she would look and worry and say, "What do you have to do to make that kind of money?" But she was the person who gave me my first MBA about self-reliance and hard work, a mother's business advice. My father would often wonder out aloud, why wasn't I born rich instead of handsome? With his support, I realized that in order to continue my activism and independence, Wall Street was the path. It was particularly since I had been in Washington with Monsignor Baroni, who was an appointee of President Carter. Matter of fact, you might think that I was one of the first NIAF scholarship owners, since Baroni plucked me out of obscurity to bring me at the highest levels. My first mentor was at Princeton University, a professor named Marvin Bressler, who taught me with wisdom and wit and brutal honesty. I one time went to him with an idea and wanted his approval. And he said, "At best you'll be ineffective, at worst you'll be counterproductive." Anyway, he taught me the value of rigorous analytical thinking, as well as the fact of humility, that just because I came up with an idea doesn't mean it's any good. We created Sabre Partners 17 years ago, and I've been on a winning team ever since. But in the end, it comes back to my parents. An Italian-American Catholic family upbringing lasts a lifetime and led me here. I will always treasure this award for them and for me, their legacy. Thank you.
And now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. My friends, I'll say it clear, I'll state my case, of which I am certain. I've lived a life that's full, I've traveled each and every highway, and more, much more than this, I did it my way.
As a kid, Ron thought that all neighborhoods were like his, primarily made up of Italian-American families and filled with the customs that hark back to their Italian heritage. Ron loved to spend time at the family hardware store during summer breaks and days off from school. But his parents wanted more opportunities for their son and emphasized the importance of his studies at Dwight Englewood High School. The hard work paid off when Ron graduated from the Stern School of Business and later received a JD from New York Law School. Mr. Larusso is now serving as president of the firm's agency consulting group. His volunteer efforts include positions on the boards of the Boy Scouts of New York and Tomorrow's Hope, an organization that raises money to subsidize Catholic school education on Long Island. He is a trustee of the New York chapter of the Citizens Budget Commission and is a member of the Partnership for New York City. Ron is grateful for all the opportunities that he has been given and, like his parents, hopes to provide even greater opportunities to his children. Ladies and gentlemen, the National Italian American Foundation is proud to present Ronald T. Larusso with the NIAF Special Achievement Award in Real Estate.
Andrea said I was going to be the last honoree to speak, so I said, okay, I have to make it memorable. She said, no, you got to make it brief. So I will not disappoint. The crux, I'm really proud to be an Italian American, and I'm proud of my heritage. And growing up and still today, the core of that to me means a really strong work ethic, unshakable integrity, and at the very heart of it, strong sense of family and family values. I really have a blessed life today, and I can't explain the route that it took to get here, but with that, I want to thank certain people in my life that have never really had the opportunity to do that in such a public forum. So, in 2004, today, this date, in 2004, I met Claire Larusso. She's going to say, no, it was April 20th in 2004, but that was our first date. That's right, it was our first date. We actually met 10 days earlier on April 10th in 2004. And the journey that we've had together led to 3 beautiful children and amazing accomplishments in life together, and I couldn't have done anything without her. Claire, you're an amazing mother and an amazing wife. I love you and thank you. And to Ron and Kathy Larusso, they've sacrificed so much in their life to give me what I think is the ultimate Italian dream or any immigrant dream, which is really educate your children in this country. And I've achieved so much of an education and hopefully have done a lot with that, but thank you for everything that you've done for me and Cara, my sister, along the way, so thank you very much. Everybody have a great night and thank you.
This has been a beautiful evening. It is so great to be with all of you. You're fantastic.
Each one of you have made it possible for NIAF to continue to provide scholarships to science, medicine, business, and the arts to young Italian Americans. We look forward to seeing each one of you here next year to celebrate again, April the 9th, 2019. Thank you and buonanotte.
We are delighted to bring to your attention 2 more events at the John D. Calandra Italian American Institute before our season ends. On Tuesday, May 15 at 6 p.m., we will present the book Global Tarantella, Reinventing Southern Italian Folk Music and Dances, authored by Incoronata Inserra. Known also as Nadia, Professor Inserra is assistant professor in the Department of Focused Inquiry at Virginia Commonwealth University. She holds a Ph.D. and an M.A. in English from the University of Hawaii at Manoa, a doctorate in Anglophone Literary Studies from the Università La Sapienza in Rome, and an M.A. in Comparative Studies from the Università L'Orientale in Naples. In Global Tarantella, Professor Inserra ventures into the history, global circulation, and recontextualization of tarantella, a genre of Southern Italian folk music and dance. Examining tarantella's changing image and role among Italians and Italian Americans, Professor Inserra illuminates how factors like tourism, translation, and world music venues have shifted the ethics of place embedded in the tarantella cultural tradition. Once rooted in a world of rural Catholicism, tarantella now thrives in urban, secular, migrant, and ethnic settings. In Serra reveals how the genre's changing dynamics contribute to reimagining Southern Italian identity and shows how its global growth promotes a reassessment of gender relations in the Italian South, helping create space for Italian and Italian American women to reclaim gendered aspects of the genre. On Monday, May 21st at 6:30 p.m., we will present the collection of essays, Pasolini's Lasting Impressions, Death, Eros, and Literary Enterprise in the opus of Pierpaolo Pasolini, edited by Ryan Calabretta-Sager. Professor Calabretta-Sager is assistant professor at the University of Arkansas. He holds a doctorate of modern languages in Italian and French from Middlebury College and is the author of a book on the Italian filmmaker Ferzan Özpetek, entitled Divergenze in celluloide, colore, migrazione e identità nei film gay di Ferzan Özpetek. Noted as a civil poet by Alberto Moravia, Pierpaolo Pasolini was a creative and philosophical genius whose works challenged generations of Western Europeans and Americans to reconsider not only issues regarding the self, but also various social concerns. This collection of 13 articles and 2 interviews evidences the ongoing discourse around Pasolini's indelible impact on the new generation. Pasolini's Lasting Impressions thus explores the civic poet's oeuvre in 4 parts: poetry, theater, film, and culture. Although the collection does not include every genre in which Pasolini wrote, it addresses many, some which often receive little or no attention, particularly in Italian studies of North America. The underlining theme of the book, Death, Eros, and Literary Enterprise, intertwines these genres in a rather unique way, allowing for interdisciplinary interpretations to Pasolini's rich opus. Next month, we'll have as guest Professor Donna Chirico, Dean of Arts and Letters, York College, CUNY, to discuss Italian Americans and the City University of New York. Thanks for watching this episode of Italics. I'm Anthony Tamburri. Arrivederci alla prossima puntata.